Chapter 33. Who is Jessica? Ben was taken aback when he walked into an empty house and quickly realized he had missed the appointment. He wondered if there would be another chance to talk to Pip. Although their last conversation hadn't been pleasant, he decided it might be better to find Jessica first. Ben also called his favorite private investigator, Adel. She was the best in town and had worked with him on several cases, an ex-cop with connections to reliable sources and a reputation for getting results. It had been 2 weeks since Ben asked her to find out if Jessica was a real person. First of all, thanks for the non-existent details you provided. They were very helpful. The yoga Jessica in Australia, Adel mocked, her husky voice a reminder of her chain-smoking habits. Though in her late 50s, she looked much more weathered. I'm sorry, but that's all I knew about her. Not finding her is also an answer, Ben replied. Who said I couldn't find her? It was a good challenge. She met with Sam 2 days ago. If I had known Sam had a thing for older women, I might have taken my shot. Her lover is older than I am, Adele revealed. Oh, are they? What? That wasn't the answer Ben had been expecting. Adele laughed heartily. I love playing this game. It never gets old. All right, back to business. I'll email you the pictures so you can see what she looked like. Miss Jessica Miles lives at number 6, Sunset Boulevard, by herself. She's around 67, originally from Mount Isa, was a teacher, and her original name was Karen Kalkadoon. Quite a distinguished heritage name to give up, which raises questions about why she changed it and moved here 30 years ago. Can't be good, Ben said. It isn't. Apparently, Karen was a single mom with a 6-year-old daughter, and no one knew who the father was. One day, the daughter went missing, and a few days later, her body was found dumped in the river. The cause of death was strangulation. The small-town folks turned on her with a vengeance, convinced she'd killed her own child. Self-appointed detectives and investigative journalists swarmed around her. They weren't just whispering and pointing. They were in her face, rifling through her shopping carts, sifting through her trash, and even digging up her yard. Each day brought a new invasion, a new headline, a new rumor. She stayed put, hoping the cops would catch the real killer. But after 5 years of living under a microscope, she'd had enough, packed up and moved here, changed her name and tried to start over. She's never been remarried. She spends most of her time on holistic stuff, gardening and other mundane activities. So, if her daughter had survived, she'd be about Sam's age now. That's awful. No wonder she's so isolated and keeps to herself, Ben said. Isolated and keeps to herself? Not at all. She's got a busy life. She volunteers, attends sports events, and travels all the time. She has plenty of acquaintances, and people in her community know and respect her. Plus, she grows her own veggies, some of which are not legal, and even has a stall at the local organic market on Sundays. Your wife, on the other hand, you could count everything she does in a week on one hand. Yeah, she is very organized, Ben murmured. There's just one thing that doesn't add up. She has a mailbox at a post office about 10 kilometers away. She picked up some mail there last Monday. If you've got your email open, check picture number 11026. It might be work-related, Ben said, in the opposite direction, but it's easy to find out. She's only gone there once in the past 2 weeks, so it's not a regular thing. And since she is a Clockwork Orange, she'll probably head back there next Monday or the first Monday of the month. I could do it for you, but it'd be cheaper if you did it yourself. I'd suggest borrowing a friend's car or renting one. People are quick to spot familiar cars when they're up to something secretive. Thanks for the advice. Also, can you give me the name of the market where Jessica sells her things? All details are in the email I sent you. At least Ben was now certain that he wasn't as much of an idiot as Pip had assumed. He decided to visit Jessica on Sunday, then keep watch on Sam's mysterious post office on Monday, and finally talk to Pip at their next meeting. What kind of name was Pip anyway, he wondered. One benefit of not talking to each other and sleeping in separate bedrooms was that Ben didn't need to explain where he was going or elaborate on any lies. On Sunday morning, determined to finally meet Jessica, he left home and called out, "I've got something to do at work." Sam was busy getting Jenna ready for her football practice. Ben drove to his office first, watching from the window to make sure Sam wasn't following him again. Satisfied, He took a taxi to the market where Jessica was supposed to be. The market was busier than Ben had anticipated, especially with the sky darkening and the threat of a thunderstorm hanging in the air. From a distance, he spotted Jessica's stall and was taken by how popular her products were. Could he really talk to her about what he needed here in the middle of all this? Maybe he could invite her for a coffee after work, but that idea quickly faded. What if she mentioned it to Sam? There had to be a reason why Sam had kept Jessica hidden from him for so long. What if Jessica was outwardly charming but secretly troubled? Or worse, malicious? Ben realized too late that he hadn't even thought of a plan before showing up here. What was he doing, just winging it like this? He decided to walk away without saying a word. As he turned to leave, he realized the suburb seemed familiar. It was near the clinic where they had conceived Jenna. As the rain began to pour, Ben quickly flagged down a taxi and headed back to the office. Staying home all day wasn't an option. He might as well bury himself in work. He decided to keep this whole situation to himself, especially from Pip. She wouldn't understand, not now, not after he'd hired a professional to spy on his wife. Things were spiraling into a web of complications, and Ben knew he had to unravel the truth on his own. Not far from the markets, Jenna's football game had been canceled due to bad weather. Sam thought it would be a good idea to pop down to the markets, grab a few things, and say hi to her dear friend. But just as she arrived, she spotted Ben jumping into a cab and leaving. How did they find each other, and what were they plotting against her? What Jessica knew was enough to make Ben's case strong enough to leave her and take Jenna away. Where was Ben? He wasn't home, and Jenna had been unusually quiet, her energy seemingly spent. Sam's anxiety deepened with each passing moment. She had done it before, packed a bag and left everything behind. But this time with Jenna, it was more complicated. She couldn't leave Jenna behind, nor could she take her without being pursued. Sam needed a solid plan. This time, she couldn't trust anyone.